And welcome back, everyone. It's the Box Office Report today on the 9th of November, 2025. And not surprisingly, Predator Badlands took number one, opening with right around $40 million. I'll tell you what, it's actually really good when we get through the rest of the top five. Regretting You made near $7.1 million. Black Phone 2 made $5.3 million. Sarah's Oil debuts at $4.4 million. And Nuremberg made $4.1 million. The bottom two are two movies. I think I saw the poster for Sarah's Oil outside my local Cinemark when I went to see Badlands a few days ago. Didn't even know they were making this movie about Nuremberg, about a therapist. What was it? Therapist or psychologist? Psychiatrist. Psychiatrist evaluates Nazi leaders before the Nuremberg trials, growing increasingly obsessed with understanding evil as he forms a disturbing bond with Herman Gordon. But there you go. The movie's barely made $4.1 million. It was never going to be a movie that makes a lot of money. Same with Sarah's Oil, which is it's not truly a faith-based film, but it is, the faith is involved to some degree. It is based on a real story, too. But no, Predator Badlands, $40 million opening weekend domestically, and $40 million internationally, which brings us to a worldwide total right now of $80 million. It took me a little bit to find the budget, but the budget, roughly speaking, is about $100 million. But I've seen some say 105. Let's just say 100. We'll go 105. This is actually a pretty solid number, specifically because they had it predicted between, I want to say, 30 and like 45 million, which is right where it ended up. But then as the reviews came in, and they were overwhelmingly positive from both critics and audiences, the estimated number dropped to like $23 million. And in my head, I'm like, that math is not mathing. Like, why would it drop? Good reviews don't cause movies to do worse. So it did open where the initial projection had it, somewhere between 35 to 45 million, in that range. Now, against a $100 million budget, is that a fantastic, wonderful, you're guaranteed to make your money back number? No, God, no, it's not. But is that a bad number? Absolutely not. It's absolutely not. It is not a bad number. Let's try that sentence again. Absolutely, it is not a bad number. It is absolutely not a bad number. Why? Well, again, the general idea is if you can open to about half your budget, you stand a really good shot of making your money back. But that really only works. Let me put it this way. The higher you get in terms of your budget to opening ratio, the less that 50 million really matters. Like, the lower you get, you definitely want to be opening higher on the higher scale, because the drop-offs you take, you're going to be making a perfect example. If I remember correctly, a film that came out earlier this year that was made on a very low budget. I think, let's just go with Black Phone. Now, Black Phone 2 opened to like 20-something million, which was a good number to open on. Black Phone's actually made money. Good. It has, by the way. But if the Black Phone had only opened on, Black Phone 2 had only opened on 15 million, well, yeah, it's only made on 30 million, and yeah, it made 50% of its budget back, but the percentage of the drops means that even if it drops only 40%, it only makes at best 10 million the following week, and then drops maybe down to 6 million, something like that. But if you get a larger number, let's say Predator Badlands here, for example, yes, it only opened to 40% of its overall budget. But if this film only ends up dropping 50%, well, that's still 20 million. That's another 20 million added on there, as opposed to just another 6 million. See what I'm saying? It's the disparity between the size of the budgets that hurts it, essentially. And the bigger, obviously, a budget you have, and the bigger you open up on, the more you can get away with it. For example, you get a $200 million budget, or a $200 million film that opens on, say, $80 million. Well, that's only 40%, but that's still $80 million. It's still very possible an $80 million film could make or an $80 million opening is enough to make back the budget of a $200 million film. We look at something like Avatar, for example. But the point is, we go back to Predator Badlands. This is actually a solid budget, specifically because we also got the international here. At $80 million, this is a good start. Now, look, it's also got it's got the highest opening weekend now of any movie in the Predator franchise, as well as the highest reviews. Is this film going to have some competition coming up? Yes, actually, it is. Running Man is going to be, no, I wouldn't say a direct competitor, but a competitor in genre. It's an action film. It's going to have some, highlights. It's got a notable star with Glenn Powell in there. It's going to be at least similar in what's the best way to put it? It's going to have a similar demographic to Badlands. Not exactly the same, but it's still going to be something similar. But apart from that, I mean, yes, obviously the biggest movies like Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, yes, those are going to take away from Predator Badlands. There's no way around that. But again, they're not the same genre. Specifically speaking, Predator Badlands is kind of the only film of its genre, really, until you get to Avatar later this year. Yes, like I said, you got Running Man coming out, which it is an action film, which would directly compete, at least for the action part of this series. But you also got the sci-fi, the monsters, the horror elements. You have all of that going with this film, too. So honestly, I think this film will have decent legs, all things considered. And really, when you break it down, I don't know what the marketing budget on this film is. That is the big thing. Let me see here. Predator Badlands. Let's see if we can't find a marketing budget. If it's okay. So Predator Badlands marketing budget. It's usually easy to find the production budget. That's easy to find. Marketing, they do not always post that. So let's see here. The exact marketing budget is not publicly disclosed, but it's in addition to a 105 production budget. Common industry rule of thumb estimates the marketing cost can be roughly equal to the production budget. That's true. I would be willing to bet it wasn't equal to $100 million of marketing. I would be willing to put money on that, to be honest. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here that says, gives us an idea of maybe what the marketing budget was. I would be willing to go more like 80 million. I don't think there definitely was a solid amount of trailers, nothing serious, but they also put down some clips as well, which does factor more money in. So I'd probably go somewhere between like say 70 to 80 million. So let's just round out and say 75, which would give it a grand total of a $180 million film. Okay. That does mean that the film does have to, roughly speaking, hit 270 to break even. That is a large number. But right now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that's an impossible number. I think we are in a reasonable state of. We're in a reasonable. What's the best word I'm looking for here? We are currently in a reasonable amount of money. I guess is the right phrase here, in the sense that, as it stands, we still have a very clear avenue to make money here on this movie. That's what we have. Now, will it end up being profitable? I can't say that. I gotta wait at least until the third week to be fairly confident on whether a movie can make its budget back or not. What I will say is this film will clear $100 million by next weekend easy. Honestly, it's going to be interesting to see more what the international budget is, or international profit's going to be on this film, what the international numbers are going to be. Because it's apparently equal footing right now with the domestic numbers. Now, that being said, if this film does better internationally, that would be great. If this film ends up making, which I'm willing to bet it will make about $100 million domestically, roughly. So that's another 60 added on there. Hypothetically, if it could do, let's say, just another $100 million there, so that's 160. That would put this film at 240, which wouldn't be fantastic, admittedly. It'd still put it on the lower side, but I think they'd see enough, thanks to the very positive word of mouth and being close to the mark. I think they would see enough value in that to continue on making another movie. I mean, we saw what Alien Romulus did, too. Alien Romulus did great. So, and that was R-rated. So we'll see if Predator Badlands can really, earn its stripes. And then we get into a bunch of just I mean, if you look at the total this week, it's somewhere in the realm of like 60, maybe close to $70 million, which is a far better weekend than what we had last weekend, but nothing great. We have Regretting You making our $7.1 million. That's 70.9 million, so 71 million bucks. That's not bad. It's far from bad. It's not great still. The movie's made of 30 million. It probably doesn't have a huge budget, a marketing budget. So you're looking at 50. So or sort of 50 total, I mean, so 20 million marketing. So if the film can hit 75, it can make another 5 million, which based on this looks like it can. Then it'll make its money back. I think that's reasonable. Black Phone 2 made her 5.3 million. As I said, it is profitable at this point at 120. Even if you take the studio's rough third out, the film made about 80 million bucks, and that's even with a $30 million budget plus marketing. So that's solid as well. Good for Black Phone. I mean, we definitely needed some sort of win in October. Whew, that was rough. Sarah, we already talked about Sarah's Oil in Nuremberg. Chainsaw Man, the movie, Raise Arc, 158 million. Hey, look, it keeps trudging along a little bit, but let's not mince words. Oh man, let's not mince words. It's in its third week and it's down 3.6 million. I mean, it's again, you weren't going to capitalize that much on Demon Slayer. It's a different manga property, a different fan base. Demon Slayer, it just has more popularity. It might suck to be a Chainsaw Man fan to hear that, but it does. So there's that. Begonia, good old Begonia. Surprisingly not doing bad. 23.1 million. No, it's not. Again, it's likely not making its money back, but it was clearly going more for some Oscar love than anything else. Die, my love. $2.8 million is what it debuts on. I saw that it was playing at my local theater. I'm not sure if I'll go. I wanted to go out and see more of the Oscar winners, but I'm becoming more and more busy at work, and not being able to find the time to go out and see more than one, maybe two movies in 1 week. Like this week, for example, it's Running Man and Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Two movies that I will do my utmost to actually go out and see. Because I remember seeing both the Now You See Me's. I enjoyed the Now You See Me's, and the Running Man looks good. Bruce Springsteen, Deliver Me from Evil, 2.2, or Deliver Me from Evil, Deliver Me from Nowhere, 34 million. Oof, you want to talk about a film that I've heard nothing but fantastic things about that no one went out to go see. That just sucks. That really just sucks. But hey, that's because the film doesn't do well financially doesn't mean he still won't get the Oscar rounds going. Tron Ares, $1.8 million. $137.4 million. You want to talk about a film that just deserved better? It just deserved better. Predator opened up higher than this did. And don't get me wrong, Predator's a much better movie than this is. But this was a fun experience. I actually really liked the film overall. It had problems, but no film's absolutely perfect. The fact that this film couldn't even make half of what Legacy did, Tron Legacy, and is a better film than Tron Legacy, that really disappoints me. That really makes me sad. And again, it just goes back to what I've been saying, that I think no one cares about this franchise. I think few people cared about it when we got Legacy out over a decade ago. And frankly, I don't think enough people care about it even now. So, it sucks. It's unfortunate. Then we got a movie called Christie, $1.3 million. Drama from Black Bear Distributor, probably another one that's going for Oscar consideration. The rest of this is all just very minor. One Battle After Another made less than $1 million at around 196 million worldwide. Good Fortune's around 18 million. Roofman is pretty done. Everything else here is pretty done. Like the run is over. Somehow, Bad Guys 2 is still in theaters, by the way, in 109 theaters. I mean, it's also done. Like, it's just done its run. But, I mean, it might still hit an extra million. 236. Like, it's pretty much on the cusp. It made like 55,000,000 this week. So, who knows? But, yeah, it was Apart from the big release, there wasn't a huge amount to talk about at the box office this week. Now, next week we will have obviously Predator in the second weekend, but we'll also have Running Man and Now You See Me Too. Based on everything I'm hearing, I'm going to go Running Man as number one next week. Then I'll say Now You See Me Too, just because they will be the two big releases this week, because we have two big releases. And Predator, even if it does 50 or less percent, will still only be in the low 20s. I have no doubt that both those films will make over $21 million. No doubt in my mind. But I will put Predator as a solid third place. Based on these numbers, I'll put Regretting You at number 4. I mean, look at those numbers. That dropped 8.9%. I didn't even realize it dropped that low. That's impressive. That's actually really impressive. Yeah, give Predator that kind of drop, and there you go. That will definitely get it towards the earning some money back range. And then Black Phone too. I'll put it number 5. So that's my prediction for next week. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.